Next, we'll have StudySync, an online learning tool.
All right. Is that better? Okay. I'm Robert Romano, again, founder and CEO of StudySync. StudySync is an online delivered content for middle school, high school, and higher education, intended to teach critical thinking, the collaboration, and the construction of meaning from texts. So it's a cross-discipline product. It's my second foray into ed tech. My first company was Advantage Software, some of you may know. I sold that to Riverdeep in 2001 and somehow got back into this again. You guys know it's kind of addicting to get back into this biz. And that first company was, I found it with James Moffett, who is a renowned educator from Harvard, one of the real preeminent educators in language. And he passed away during that project. But his inspiration carried over to my second project, which is really founded in the ideas that are that fill our books in our libraries, in our personal libraries, in our public libraries. It's the idea that getting students today at any level to read is very difficult. I think even a presenter earlier said it's a challenge to even read text for ourselves, extended text. So how do you do that? And it's not that, and those ideas in those books really are the cornerstones of our culture, right? Those are our own source code of the people that we are. And so it's important to know that those kids that are now in schools really have an interest in learning those ideas. What's the problem is that we're teaching them with old methods. We're communicating with 19th century tools, and getting a kid to read Walden Pond as an AP class over summer vacation, and believe me, I have two kids in high school that I've raised myself, it's very difficult. And how do you engage them in those ideas? If they're going to advance those ideas when they get to college and into professional life, they have to know those ideas. And not only do they have to know those ideas, and maybe I'm speaking a little too much about the kind of pedagogy behind it, but my belief is that it's not just what happens in those books that you read, it's actually what happens to the reader when they read them. So it's really about the construction of collaboration, that social learning that occurs when you interact with the book and interact with people about that book. We all have that experience in book clubs and all kinds of things. So the product builds from a library of texts. We have about 500 library items that'll be completed by summer. We're about 350 right now. From this library, students are assigned from us or from a teacher an item which then goes into their assignments, and they launch a multimedia experience, a movie-like trailer that engages them and sort of generates curiosity for them about that particular title. For example, if you can hear it on this thing with audio.
Drawing rooms and dresses. Does he have a fortune? In an era where marrying rich was every young lady's hope, might she also find true love? Read Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice.
So after they watch this little movie-like trailer, they sort of engage them in this work, they actually read the text. In this case, it's an excerpt from Jane Austen's book. They annotate in the text as they go along, and then they listen to a voiceover, a dramatically read voiceover.
Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. Excerpt from Chapter 1. It is a truth universally acknowledged that a single man in possession of a good fortune must be in want of a wife.
So after they read this text, listen to it, and then they move on to a Sync TV episode. Sync TV is we have studios, we shoot these broadcast quality videos in with actors, educational, but also entertaining, discourse around the topic.
I'm pretty sure that's not a word.
It's like the keys on the typewriter. Trust me, it's a word. I have a Scrabble dictionary. Wait.
I don't think that's a word.
Wordy keyboard. It's like the keys on the typewriter. Let's get started. Pay attention. Okay. Well, hey, let's just jump right into this, all right? So today we're looking at an excerpt from Pride and Prejudice.
So each of these titles has this CTV episode, characters, about 15 characters, actors that we have in our studios that we shoot, that become regulars on the show, so to speak. But it is educational discourse. It is written by top academics that we have on our team, including Carol Jago is the president of the National Council of Teachers of English. And then, so once they've done that on each of these, they move on to a think, which is basically a pre-writing exercise, which allows them to sort of metacognitively experience what they've thought about this text and based on these excerpts we provide. And then they write an essay based on a prompt that we provide or a teacher provides. The entire product is customizable, so teachers can upload their own prompts and bring in their own text, etc. So once they've posted to an essay, they get to review other students. So here's where really the content really starts happening and the learning really occurs. They actually post to other peers that are set up by the teacher in a group in their community or across the country or in a different country. And they write and post to each other. They read that peer's review. They write a review of that and based on a prompt provided by a teacher or us. And then they rate that according to a rubric, again, that we've created, but you can upload your own rubric. So once they've done that, everything they've done on this site is held in a portfolio called a binder. Every experience they've had on this, every note they've taken, every review they've received, every note that teacher has provided for them, every assessment they've been provided, is maintained for assessment at any time or review by a student in the binder. Another key feature that's is very cool, very unique to the product, are blasts. Blasts are current events brought to a student in a dynamic way for them to review and also to research and then to write a 140-character Twitter type response to other students. And then they get to, once they've done that, they get to rate and they get to see the other ratings that students have received to try to get the top 10 across the country. Very exciting. We've gotten a lot of teachers assigning 30 or 40 of these and kids going up to 80, 100 of these. They really get excited about sort of giving their voice. It's a place for them to voice their kind of critical thinking skills and their personal opinions about topics of importance, whether it's what happens after Egypt falls or another one of my personal favorites is last year we did one on Haiti. You know, why is it that the media disappears after exploiting the heartbreak? It's not about the media, it's about the question about people. What is it that allows the media to do that? What about people allows them? And amazing responses from students. So again, from the library, we build out to all these kind of other aspects of the product. And then finally, the blasts, which come to students every week and can be screened or actually added to by a teacher. So that's pretty much the product. It's a online delivered in all formats. So we have schools using it exclusively on the iPad, for example. They can use their iPhone on the way home and respond to the blasts. So we're excited. It's doing very well. We just launched about 2 months ago, and we're in Canada and the U.S., in Madrid and a few other places we're popping. We have a bottom up and a top-down approach. So we have teachers signing up for classrooms. We have districts signing up for entire school districts. We have a statewide initiative we're developing with Pearson, so in 5 states. So we're moving. We found a really great response because, in the end, I think an iterative use of the product cumulatively gives kids exposure to these great titles, right? To this great body of work that is fiction, nonfiction, literature, etc., and provides for them a real tool to kind of hone their critical thinking skills and their writing skills and their communication skills in a way that's relevant to them, in a way that is using the things that they use every day. It's really about sort of blending sort of the tenets of really smart educational principles that do go back to the 19th and 18th century, but bringing them to a modern student who has a propensity every day to engage with this technology and finds those techniques of, say, go home and read Walden Pond this summer on your own, a little difficult to say the least. It was difficult for us. A study just came out this month, interestingly, in the English Journal, which says, yeah, okay, last point, just read this article today, so it's fresh in my mind, that most students who enter high school and now college expect not to have to read an entire book. And that's, pretty astounding. And we want to make lifelong readers of them. So anyway, I can go on all day on this. Yes?
This is extremely interesting and engaging. difficult to compete with things like Facebook, but where do you see yourselves in terms of the NCLB, the No Child Left Behind initiative?
You know, pardon?
Can you repeat the question?
Sure. It's a little long to repeat.
Sorry.
Okay. The question really was, how does this relate to the No Child Left Behind, and how does it enter the schools with regard to that, right? Currently, we've had such a kind of groundswell of support, actually evangelists, I call them, because they really get on board with this and they spread it among their schools. And we initially, to be honest, I initially created this thinking we'd make B students into A students, and what we found is actually a lot of inner city schools, Gateway in San Francisco, for example, and Vintage, using this for students who do not have this kind of discourse in those videos. And I only saw a brief instant of it. That kind of intelligent discourse that goes on in our families, of educated families, and that have older brothers and sisters in college, and those kids are all of a sudden exposed to this kind of discourse, and it's fabulous, and they're really getting kids really engaged with the visuals and things. Yes?
Any integration with other online platforms, e-learning, like Moodle and so on?
You know, we really, competition with Moodle, Sen?
Integration with Moodle.
Oh, integration.
Integration with
you know,
number 2 is why on earth confusion?
What? You have to talk to my programmers about that. Good questions. I would say that we are looking to integrate, our platform does integrate with schools' administrative programs. So it does link in pretty seamlessly to grades and tracking within the school system. So, but we are, we're always looking for expansion. We talked to somebody last night about including their product and ours and a few other things. So we're moving. It's still a new product, so there's lots of room for growth here. Also, like I said, the matrix for this product, the system of learning, we're applying to several other areas in science, and also completely different as in professional development and other things.
Last question.
I know you just launched, but are any of your customers paying yet?
Yes, yes, we have. We just launched 2 months ago, but we have paying customers. Vancouver school districts, Surrey school districts are really on board, and they're spreading it so much that they got Pearson Canada to be very interested in distributing it across all of Canada. And we have paying customers in the U.S. as well. But it started. We do with 2 months free, so we've had a lot of sign-ups, many hundreds, but those are converting as the new year starts, and we're looking now at an adoption by North Carolina, and then San Francisco school districts are on board for testing. They are testing it right now, and Los Angeles and other big school districts as well. So.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
If you have more questions, they'll be here after the event.